You are now listening to the Artist King Podcast.
Thundercats, I love Thundercats, but I didn't draw the Thundercats though. Like certain things I drew, like the Transformers. That's why I love drawing. And then of course the Ninja Turtles. You know, who didn't draw them? Like I had a whole series of comics of the Ninja Turtles and Batman that I created as a kid, and I would showcase them to my friends.
This is DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com, and this is the Artist King Podcast, episode number 88. Featuring the artist interview with Slim Jim LongFoot. Please take the time to download the Artist King podcast in your favorite platform and listen anytime. We would like to hear your opinions and suggestions, so please direct your comments to dtm@artistking.org. The Artist King podcast is available on iTunes, Spreaker.com, Stitcher Radio, and ArtistKingArchive.com. The Artist King podcast is made possible by the support of our sponsors. You can find them on the partners page at artistking.org, and they include the law offices of Deborah Gonzalez Esquire, VelocityScreenPrint.net, Revolvescape.com, O-Hub at Giant, Southside Sickest, Mex Manny Beats, The Biz Garage, and AzaleaCreativeGroup.com. I had the pleasure of adding my name to a comic book anthology edited and published by Slim Jim LongFoot, aka NorViance Henry. Slim Jim is an ATL native going hard for the comic book art life, and you can check out his book Urban God Inc. in indieplanet.us or follow him on Facebook under Jellybean Dream 02, and his personal Facebook is GOAT14. Now on to our Artist King artist interview with Slim Jim LongFoot.
And what's going on? This is NorViance Henry. I'm from Atlanta, born and raised, ATL, Decatur raised. Name, y'all might know me by Slim Jim LongFoot or the GOAT, King of America. Slim Jim LongFoot, that is an ode to Outkast. If you know Big Boy, Daddy Fat Sex, or Lucius Left Foot, that's where Slim Jim LongFoot came from. Shout out to Andre 3002, 3 stacks all day, ATL style.
All right. That's how it works with when I interview artists from Atlanta. I always have a good story to go with it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, King of ATL, where's that come from?
King of America.
Oh, King of America.
Yeah, I pretty much said, well, Columbus came here and discovered America, for another country. So I was like, well, nobody hasn't claimed being a king yet, so I'm going to be the king then. Since we got presidency, but I'm going to be the king.
Okay, very good.
You got king of regions, but I'm going to just go ahead and take the whole country.
Okay. All right. It could be interpreted as the whole continent of America.
Yeah, exactly. That too.
All right.
North and south.
There you go. So, you're from Decatur, born and raised?
ATL, born, Decatur raised.
All right.
Yeah.
What part of Decatur?
Just about all over, mostly in near the Wesley Chapel area. Wesley Chapel, Flat Shoals Parkway.
Right outside 285 then.
Right off of I-20, not too far from Wesley Chapel exit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to McDonald's. Been going to that McDonald's since 87.
No more. All right. That's cool, man.
I remember when they had the purple and green rooftops. Then they finally decided to go ahead with the red roof and make it organized.
Wow. So you're a real fan.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Hot cakes and sausage.
So, tell us about your first time coming across art. How old were you? What were you doing?
Man, art has I've been drawing since I was a kid. So you're talking like 4 or 5 years old. Coming up with different things. I had imaginary friends. I didn't just have one imaginary friend. I had several.
Several?
I had about 20 of them at least.
What?
I know I had like 14 little people. All of them had names, and then I had grown people, and then they had families, and then like around 10, 11, that's when they moved away.
What?
What? You know what I'm saying? And, and it was funny because I remember when Drop Dead Fred came out, and that was a movie about with Phoebe Cates and her imaginary friend, which was a crazy movie. And I thought that was a hilarious movie because I had all those imaginary friends. But when it comes to the art, Yeah, like my imagination was real big, and I always like came up with different characters and everything. But my first major character was Nervy Man, which was of course my name, Nervy, my nickname Nervy, and it was a play off of course Superman. Superman is like the biggest hero, so Nervy Man was my Superman, and so that was my first major character. From there, my universe of characters expanded, leading up to where we are with Jelly Bean Dream and many characters to follow, such as my Strider family characters, the Commando Lizards or Legion, whichever you prefer. I'm still debating which one they're going to be released as, because they started as the Commando Lizards, then became the Commando Legion. So, and then plenty more characters that's boggling my brain right now that I'm thinking about. With Urban Guide Inc., the company that me and my friend of 26 years now, Corley Manning, founded, we're about to produce some real heat, coming out with The Forest, which was the title he created. And our first book that was released was The Adventures of Pimp Hand Strong #1 back in 2012, where he wrote and I drew the book and he covered the book.
Okay. Well, we just skipped all from you being 12 and get rid of your friends to now, but all right.
I tend to ramble sometimes.
It all goes together. It's all right. It's all part of the same story.
Okay.
So, because we're going to get into Jelly Bean Dream and Urban God Inc.
Okay.
And your current work, because you're trying to, you're in the business doing things, so that's good. And we want everybody to know about it. You're a kid. You have all these imaginary friends, and you're drawing, right? So are you drawing those characters? What are you drawing?
My imaginary friends. I did draw my imaginary friends. I did draw them.
Y'all go on adventures together.
In
your drawings,
I actually wasn't in the drawings. Like I pretty much showcased like the adventures that they had without me. And as far as in other stuff that I drew, of course, like the mainstream stuff that was around in the 80s, like Transformers, He-Man, and Thundercats. I love Thundercats, but I didn't draw the Thundercats, though. Like, certain things I drew, like the Transformers, that's why I love drawing. And then, of course, the Ninja Turtles, who didn't draw them? Like, I had a whole series of comics of the Ninja Turtles and Batman that I created as a kid. And, I would, showcase them to my friends. And
started drawing your own stories. Wow.
Yeah, doing my own original stories of the characters. And that was where some of my characters also, I made their appearance, like, interacting with, those characters. Like, I had one, like, my major villain in the Batman series was a guy named Madman, no relation to Mike Alfred's Madman, but he was a villain, and he was like a master of disguises, wore different disguises, and then he came up with his own crew called the Batbusters, to go take out Batman.
Okay.
And so that was as far as that go. And with the Ninja Turtles, that's where a lot of my universe expanded, because I used to actually do a voiceover with my friend. We like do a voiceover. I wish that could have been recorded on. I wish that could have been recorded. We did voiceovers where we would play out the episodes of the Ninja Turtles, and then they would interact with our characters, and then eventually the Ninja Turtles got phased out because it's the Ninja Turtles, and we just did complete adventures with our own characters. And it was kind of funny because we had those adventures of our characters, but then we had like the comic books that we did as well, but they were kind of different, just like how you got your separate universes now with the cinematic universe of Marvel and the comic books and things of that nature. Like, I think the voiceovers were more realistic, more real, and then the comic books was kind of like the kiddie version of it.
What the hell? What kind of friends did you have? You had real friends who were doing this stuff with you? Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah, it was shoot. It started out like about 3. It started out with 2, myself and my friend Corley. Then it expanded to at least about 3, 4, or 5 of us doing the voiceover, and then it went back down to us 2. And then of course we eventually stopped doing it, and then started concentrating on putting all this into our comics.
So when you did the voiceover, did you you didn't record it on tape or nothing? You just sat there and
nope.
And played out stories in voice?
Yep.
Oh, wait a minute, you was on the phone? You just made the phone gesture with your hand.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we was on the phone. They're going to just, okay, all right. And where we left off, all right. And then I, of course, started jotting down the notes. And then eventually I started writing out, like what happened in this episode. Like, I started taking all the notes down of what happened. So I got, like, several, like, from 96 to 97, I got, like, several episodes, written down of what happened on those episodes. I wish I had the early ones, but, back then I was just taking, like, just little jot notes down, but then I started writing out the whole episode summaries of what happened on each episode.
So then you can use those as stories in the comics later on.
Yeah.
What? So that's like brainstorming and role-playing, voiceovers all at the same time over the phone. And you got kids.
Yeah, man. We had got paid for that. We'd probably be rich right now.
Yeah, and people get paid for that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. For voiceover work, so it's like I was the king of the sound effects back then. Like I would go when the blast come like I'm not Michael Winslow from Police Academy, but I'm as close. I thought I was pretty good back then.
Wow, making the noises. All right, so you said Corley? His name is Corley?
Yeah, Corley Manning.
Corley Manning.
Yeah.
And so you guys kept on working together.
Yep.
And so are you in middle school, high school?
From doing the voiceovers? From elementary to high.
To high?
Yep.
Dang it. All right. And then, at this time, so you're doing drawings and comic ideas at home. Are you doing any art in school? Any art classes? In school,
let's see, 9th grade, that was a horrible year because I had no art that year. So I basically was just working on my comic books during that time to occupy because that school, no art for me in that school.
No stimulation,
So I was just working on my books in between periods in class, and of course when I got home, just working on my comics at the time and working on new characters, and of course doing the voiceover at that time. And 10th grade, when I moved to a different school, that was when it picked up. Shout out to Mrs. Bryant, who in 10th grade, that was where I started working on portraits. She was the first person to get me into portraits, and I started doing portraits and started getting paid for doing portraits of friends of my parents or whoever they knew or whatnot like that. And so I started working on portraits. First I would blow the picture up on a projector, trace it out, and then put in the rendering and shading, and then eventually I started just doing it all free-handed.
Okay, that's in 10th grade. And did you follow up with more classes till the end of the high school, or?
11th grade and 12th grade, I was in commercial art.
Oh, okay.
With the same teacher, Mrs. Bryant. And every year we were supposed to do airbrushing at the end of every year, but we never had a chance to do it. From 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade.
We were waiting for that, huh?
Yeah, well, we're going to get into airbrushing. And then end of the year happened, and we didn't get into the 11th grade. We're going to get into airbrushing. End of the year happened, nothing happened. 12th grade.
She was a liar.
Well, I mean, I got my hopes up for it, but I was like, but it's all good. But in 11th grade, we, myself and 3 other artists, did a mural for the front wall of our school where the entrance was during that time. And as I believe it's still up there. Last time I went up there to the school was like 2001, so it's been 14 years. But I asked some recent graduates, was it still there? And they were like, yeah, it's still there. I was like, okay, cool. We did that in the 97-98 school year.
Okay.
And they had an article for it in Crossroad News as well.
All right, flexing the art skills. Why not?
Yeah, got to. Yeah. We did it with acrylic paint on the art, and that was my very first time working with acrylic. Because we had already been, training up, doing portraits and stuff like that. And so she was working with us with the acrylic painting that year in 11th grade. And so it was myself, another artist by the name of Jacob Mills, and 2 10th graders, Chris Watson and Rajad. I can't remember Rajad's last name right now. It begins with an M though. Majad Muhammad. And so us four worked on that mural. We all had different parts on the mural. I worked on the sky, the brick house that was over there, a little bit of the grass, a little bit of the trees, and that's about it.